like to introduce a topic. And so today we just gonna talk about, some moments or some things in our life that really build our confidence.
Yes, sir.
So I crank things up. You know, if you follow the podcast for a while, then we've always talked about creative ways you have to do things when you are disabled. Because you have to make so many adjustments. And I know one thing for me it was kind of like an adjustment, but it kind of wasn't. Um, was when I was working. Like had my very first job. You know what I'm saying? The first job I ever got paid for. And when I saw the paycheck, I was just like,
Yes, sir.
yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Now it wasn't like no whole bunch of money or something like that. I think it was like $100.
Yeah.
But I mean, that first $100 that I earned, I was just like, I could absolutely do this. You know what I'm saying? I could make my own muscle money. I could hustle. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Yeah, boost make you feel good.
Right.
I'm my own money. I'm about to go shop now.
For real.
I'm do this. I'm do that.
I'm buying my own stuff now. Yeah. So that's the first moment for me that really, gave a little shot of B12 to my confidence. You know what I'm saying? Just, I was ready.
That's that independence right there, man.
Right. I got the feeling it. You know what I'm saying?
Making your money, like, you know, you don't want to eat somebody cooking. I got money to buy my own food now.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I was ready.
Yeah.
They couldn't tell me nothing. I was just like, man, what? Clothes? I can get my own. So yeah.
Say for me, man, when I started driving,
Okay.
I was like, man, I see myself going wherever I want to go. I ain't gotta wait on nobody. I ain't gotta ask for no rides.
Driving is freedom.
Right. If I want to get up at 11 o'clock at night and go somewhere, I can do that.
Right.
You gotta wait for nobody to come pick you up. They gonna be asking for gas money, I gotta do all that.
And see, like, that make you feel grown right there.
Yeah.
That make you feel grown. Be like, bro,
Yeah.
you got your own money and your own transportation too.
You good.
You feel grown.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You just hop in the car and just ride. No destination, just ride.
Just ride.
It don't matter.
For real.
I ain't got nowhere to go, nowhere to be. I'm just gonna ride.
For real. Just rolling.
Yeah.
About his business.
Right.
And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, the whole purpose of this podcast is, it's all about independence. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff we're gonna say, it'll be for everybody, and then some things is specifically for those with, different types of disabilities, because every disability is different.
Yeah.
It affects every person in a different way. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, if you are the person that's disabled, or if you've been disabled from birth, like us, or if you just newly became disabled because something happened to you,
Yeah.
or you may be the parent of a disabled child. You know what I'm saying? It's all different viewpoints, different aspects. But the stuff y'all hearing from us is based off our experience. So for Travis it was driving. For me it was the first time I got to feed myself, or the first time I worked and made my own money. You know what I'm saying?
That bad.
Right. Because I can remember a time when my parents, they were working at their, respective jobs and different things like that. And we hadn't went, to the grocery store or anything, so we didn't have a lot of food in the house for me to eat. You know what I'm saying? And I was off from work that day. And I was just like, there's hardly no food in here. So, you know what I'm saying? I Googled the closest Domino's to me. And actually, called them up and placed the order, and they brought everything to the house. And I fed myself. And I actually got enough to, feed my family too when they got home. They were surprised because they was like, man, when this pizza got here? My mom was like, wait, I was gonna cook something. I mean,
They was shocked you didn't get it.
Right.
You should to do it.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, well, just don't be spending all your money trying to feed people, but we glad you did it. I was just like, I was just glad to be full. You see what I'm saying? Like, and that just really showed me, like, bro, I could take care of myself, in a sense. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, another dose of confidence right there.
I'm gonna piggyback off that, man.
Okay.
Keep that going. I was, it was one of my aha moments too when I got my first job. I was excited to have my own money and to be able to, help my mom big confidence builder.
Right.
You know.
You know, and I guess some of it, kind of may have to do with being a man. You kind of feel like if you see problems now, I can, I might not be able to physically solve a problem, but I got my own money to where I can pay for gas, or I can go and buy my own clothes so that, mama or daddy don't have to do it no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can buy my own food or put food in the house for everybody. You know what I'm saying? If they short on the bill, don't worry about it. I got the makeup on it. You know what I'm saying? Just doing what I can to do my part. And it made me feel grown, even though I was in the house. But it made me feel grown. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
It's like a different feeling when you're able to contribute,
Right. I felt more responsible. You know what I'm saying? Not that they depended on me to feed them or pay the bills, but hey, let me take the light bill, let me take the water bill, let me take the internet, something small. Just so I can learn to pay the bills on time, but also too, I know that leave a little extra money in y'all pocket. So, you know what I'm saying? Let me do what I can do.
Yeah, I mean, also it's gonna teach you how to manage money. So you get that real life experience then.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And that was something I definitely wanted, was to be able to, not so much see what it's like to live on my own, but to be able to kind of experience this is what it's like when you have to be the one that pays certain bills. If you don't pay, then this gets cut off.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, it's nothing like being on your own and having that experience for sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't deny that experience for anybody, especially if you are disabled. It's like if you're able to, handle yourself and you get on your own, that is an experience that you will never forget.
It's like a badge of honor, man. You got so many odds that can be against you. I know when I was looking for an apartment, man, it was so hard trying to find an accessible apartment. I went everywhere. And they'll tell me it's accessible, and I go look at it. Man, why y'all wasting my time?
He said, why you wasting my time?
But yeah, it's different things that kind of deter you or discourage you. But you gotta keep it going.
So Travis, tell me, like, talking about building confidence and stuff like that. See, we both got out of our parents' houses, that's true.
Yeah.
But when I got out of my parents' house, like, me and my girl, we had been dating 3 years, we got married, and I moved in with her. So technically, I never fully been on my own by myself. But for you moved out your mom's house into your apartment, you know what I'm saying? So, like, tell me, like, what was that like? Because you literally was by yourself.
Man, I couldn't believe it. I was fighting so hard trying to find a spot, man. I'm like, man, I couldn't. Like I said, it was so hard trying to find a accessible apartment. I almost was like, man, just forget it. But I ended up finding one. They had just finished building this apartment complex, and everything was just laid out. It was accessible, fully accessible. Everything was low. Detachable shower heads. The whole nine. But I mean, to be out on my own, man, it was like mind blowing experience, man. It was just, I couldn't believe it because it was like, as a kid, I would think about, how I'm gonna do that, how I'm gonna do this, and it finally happened. And I'm like, man, it's like it's like you gotta pinch yourself, like, am I dreaming?
For real. I know your confidence went through the roof, dude.
I'm like, man, I can make as much noise as I want to.
Just think about it. At that point, I mean, you had your own money, your own transportation, and literally your own place. Like those three things, you couldn't. Nobody could be like, you not grown. It's like, nah, I'm out you. I'm out you, guy.
And all the bills still can't tell me I ain't grown.
For real. Cause my parents, they famous saying, you're not grown till you get your own. You hit 18, 19, and think you just like run the world. It's like, nah, you can't run the world from somebody else's house. Cause you don't know the responsibilities. It ain't hit you yet. When you the only one that's responsible for you, that's a whole different feel. So I'm like, man, that was, and I kind of had that same moment too. when I moved out my parents' house. But like I say, at that point I had gotten married. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I didn't have the feeling of like I was completely by myself. I was financially responsible for everything. Now, I wasn't. But at the same time, you know, my maturity level was already set to I'm not gonna leave everything on her.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna do my part, and sometimes I did more than my part. You know, which was cool with me because, like I say, I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? That's part of being a man. Sometimes you're gonna have to step up more than you might want to. You know, so and I did that. You know, and that's when my confidence just kind of shot past the level that I never thought it'd get to. Because I kind of realized, like, yeah, this disability don't have to stop anything. You know, it don't have to stop anything. And yeah, some stuff for me was hard. You know, like learning to drive. I still haven't fully got the hang of that yet, but it's coming. You know, so ain't there's the only thing stopping you really is you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's usually what it is. Being your own way. Ain't nobody else stopping you. You know, all these excuses people make. You know, it's this and that stopping me in the world. Like, nah, it's just you stopping me.
And most time I think it'd be fear.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know exactly fear of what, because it'd be different stuff for each person. You know, like for me, for a long time, it was just that fear of like, what if I try and I fail? You see what I'm saying? Like,
failing is not trying.
And that too. See, you gotta like Travis always say, you gotta pivot. Everything starts right here. You know, you gotta change that. Because if you don't, you will never make a move. You know, so I think another thing that will help build confidence when you're disabled is not just living on your own, but like traveling if you by yourself.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
I feel like, you know, when I moved to Florida, that not kind of, but it did like boost my confidence a lot to feel like, oh, I definitely make it on my own. Like before I even got my own place, when I was in college, I went to Florida on an internship. And they provided my own apartment. I'm like, man, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm out here in Florida. I always talk about living in Florida. Well, Miami, really. I was in Orlando.
Okay.
But I mean, it's still, Florida. So
right.
I was like, man, oh yeah, I definitely can live on my own because that kind of taught me how to manage my money. You know, I gotta buy groceries, still gotta pay bills. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. So that kind of took me to a whole different level. You know, if I can say that.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. I think my travel story. As far as me traveling by myself, it was only one time. I had a thing I had to do for the job I was on, and we had to go to this specific training for like 3 or 4 days. So they, put me on a plane and all of that. I had to go to Arkansas, which is not that far from Louisiana, but it's like I had never flown before. I had never been anywhere by myself. Yeah. So like getting on the plane and stuff from Baton Rouge to Dallas Airport, and I don't know if y'all ever been to Dallas Airport. That mug huge.
Yeah, it's cool.
This is big. You know what I'm saying? That I got off the plane and was in Dallas Airport and I'm just looking around like, this is absolutely like outer space ridiculous. It's just, and I'm walking through the airport and I don't know, people before I got on the plane in Baton Rouge, my family members was telling me like what to look for and, what to ask for and stuff like that. And I did those things and it was good, you know what I'm saying? I had some scary moments. Like when they changed the gate on me, you know what I'm saying? They changed the gate on me while I was eating some food.
Oh, man.
And then the same gate that they said changed, it was like all flights to Arkansas going from gate, whatever the gate number was, is leaving now. And I was like, you know what I'm saying? If the gate was gate E, I was at gate A. So I was a long ways from the gate. And I just remember like throwing my food in the trash. I'm like dragging my suitcase. I'm trying to run because they didn't have any wheelchairs. They had them, but I didn't know where they were. Yeah. And it wasn't until somebody came up to me while I was running and they was like, hey, I work for the airport. And I'm looking at their bags and they like, look, hop in this wheelchair. I'm gonna get you wherever you need to go. I'm like, man, by the time I get in the wheelchair, the plane gonna be left. And the dude was telling me, he was like, nah, man, you good. Just get in the wheelchair. So I got in the wheelchair. And the people that I had, people saw me throw my food away, so they made me another plate at the food place, and they followed behind the wheelchair, but I didn't know they was doing that, And the guy, I told him where I was trying to get to,
treatment, man.
I was out of breath. All I could tell people was thank you. You know what I'm saying? I ate the food because they weren't, technically, they didn't have to make me another plate. I had paid for the plate I threw away.
That's the raw treatment, man. So they pushed it and you had the
I got free food, yeah.
The restaurant falling into your day?
Yup.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, you know, God is good, man.
Privileges, man.
God is good, you know what I'm saying? I can't stress that enough. He is awesome. Because those people didn't have to, you know what I'm saying? They didn't have to make me another plate.
Yeah.
The dude pushing the wheelchair could have just been like, I don't feel like it today. You know what I'm saying? And I could have looked at it all kind of racial ways because we was different colors.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he could have had all kind of stuff that he just didn't want to do. But he was like, nah, man, come on, get in the chair. I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, and that really touched me because I thought I was gonna miss the flight. Then when I got to Arkansas, the people who was from Sam's, we all had our vests on and we got on the shuttle bus, and they was like, yeah, when we all get to the hotel, we're gonna put our stuff down and come back down, and we all gonna go eat. I'm like, cool, man. I went to my room. They like, oh, your roommate ain't here yet. He's gonna be a while. I'm like, okay. And the dude walked down the hallway. So I'm, put my suitcase down, I'm putting my duffel bag down, I'm unzipping stuff and all of that. About 5 minutes, right? I come back downstairs on the elevator at the lobby where they said we was gonna meet at. Nobody's there. And I turn around to the lady at the front desk, she's like, hey, I remember seeing you with that big group from Sam's, right? I'm like, yes, ma'am. Have you seen them? She was like, oh, they all came down and they went out the door somewhere. And I was like, oh. And I was like, well, we was all supposed to be going to get something to eat. I was supposed to go with them, and she was like, oh, they left, baby. I'm so sorry.
Oh, man.
They had all left me. I was like, oh, man.
I would have been eating.
So I'm like, well, it can't get no worse, right? Weather was beautiful. Sun was outside, right? Well, I asked the lady, I said, ma'am, I'm really hungry. Is there any food places close to the hotel that I maybe could walk to and walk back? And she looked me up and down. I'm guessing she was looking at the crutches and thinking, why would you want to walk somewhere? And she told me, she said, look, there is something like a sandwich shop, to the right of the hotel, but it's a good ways down. There's some food places to the left, but that's even further down. So you might want to just go to the right because it's going to be a short walk. And I was like, okay. So I go to the right, to get to the little sandwich shop. And with the way I move, it took me about 30, 45 minutes to get there. Walking, right?
Yeah.
So I get there, I tell them what I want to order because it was something like a Subway, right? Tell them what I want to order. And I thought about, I'm going to just sit here and kiss my breath and eat my food inside. No, sir. Lightning started cracking outside. Thunder started rolling. I said, well, you know what? The people in the shop, they was like, you eating that here, right? And I was like, nah, I'm at the hotel down the street. I'm going to just grab it to go. They was like, okay. What about your drink? I was like, express your drink because I ain't going to be able to carry it. It was like, oh, man. So they triple bagged my food and everything like that. And I left out the shop and headed back toward the hotel. Sky got dark. I was like, I ain't going to make it. Bro, when I say the thunder hit and the sky was black, and I'm just like, Lord, don't let this happen to me because I'm too far away, you know what I'm saying? The rain held up until I got under the breezeway at the hotel, and then it came down. Okay. So like I said, I had some scary moments, but I made it, you know what I'm saying? I got sick on the plane on the way back home, so they literally had to make me get off the plane and wait for the next plane, which I didn't know they do that. I thought I wasn't gonna make it home at first. I was like, bro, I never travel again. And then when they got the plane together and was like, you fly on the next flight, it's going to Baton Rouge too. I was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So after that, I knew I could make it. It was scary, I thought I wasn't coming home.
That's crazy. They left you, bro.
Yeah, they left.
Everybody would have got a piece of my mind. I would have had to be fired.
You think so? Trying to sound.
Well, it would have been a lawsuit.
Yeah, it was scary. I didn't know how to play that one. Like when I came down and the lady was like, they all left. I was like, all of them? She was like, yeah, everybody left. And when I was sitting on the bed eating my food, somebody knocked on the door. I was like, come in. So this dude came in. And he had a little small duffel bag with him. And he dropped it on the bed and he was was like, man, you must be my roommate. I'm sorry I'm late, man. My flight got delayed or something like that, right? So he got to talking to me. He said, man, where you from? I'm like, I'm from Louisiana. He was like, let's get the heck out of here. Me too. Like, I'm like, oh, you too? What part you from? He like, I'm from New Orleans, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, cool. I'm from Baton Rouge. So we got to chopping it up. He was like, bro, I see you eating that sandwich. That's the only thing you had to eat today? And I told him, the whole story. He was like, oh, dude, if I'd have been here, like, you wouldn't have got left. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would have made it to wherever they went to. Like, I wouldn't have just left you behind like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's all good, man. Sometimes God allow things to happen and we don't know why, but they helped to build my confidence. You know what I'm saying? I said I wouldn't travel by myself, but after going through that, I would. Sometimes challenges can be fun. So,
yeah, I wouldn't let a challenge stop me from traveling solo.
I mean, when you done did it, you like took over Florida. We seen you.
Man, I wasn't on the news. IG news. Facebook news.
But yeah, Travis, he lived like how long you lived in Florida?
I was there for like a few months.
Yeah.
Almost a year.
See, back then I probably wouldn't have had the confidence to go live somewhere else. Because I'd have been thinking like, I don't know nobody, I don't have no help, stuff like that. But see now,
I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous, but I was like,
well, of course.
I'm still do it. I'm like, I'm gonna still do it. Once I got there, started meeting people. It was up from there.
And see, that's what my mind is shifting to. I'm not as fearful as I was before. You know what I'm saying? I'm still hesitant on some stuff. But for the most part, I'm like, nah, you know what? Life is meant to be lived. You know what I'm saying? It's too short to live with regrets. I don't have no regrets whenever time it comes. So I'm just like,
I want to be jumping out.
yeah. You're like, man, he lived a whole full life. Like, owned multiple houses, multiple streams of income. He owned businesses. He hired people. He lived all over the place. Some I just
So you how to live.
for real.
I'm gonna show you how to live.
If life's supposed to be a game, I'm gonna show you how to play.
The world is my playground, literally.
It's good. Another thing I think that helped build my confidence was school. School was, yeah, some parts of school was tough to me, like, but facing something tough and then being able to say you did it, like graduating or,
Yeah.
making friends when you thought you wasn't gonna make friends, that is a game changer too.
Yeah.
Because until you get out there and you experience life, you'll meet people that'll show you like what you're going through is cool to them. And not cool, like, man, you're such an inspiration. It's just cool, like, seeing you get through what you get through, and then they see, like, man, you just like me. I mean, minus the disability, but your mindset, the way you handle stuff is just like me. And that's cool too.
Yeah.
Because it'll show you as a disabled person, like, you don't have to let nothing stop you. You can make friends, you can date, you can get married, you can whatever. Have a business.
Right.
Make your own money.
Do it all.
Right.
The world is yours.
So these are just a few of the moments that we had to kind of build our confidence.
Yeah, let us know some confident builders for y'all,
For sure.
And this is Independence is Live podcast. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share this video.
And don't forget to catch us on Instagram at Independence is a Vibe. And we'll be back next week with another video.
Stay tuned.
And we out.